Okay, to start, here is what we are learning about today. So we're learning how to climb the metric ladder. So the metric ladder decides the easiest way to remember how to move a decimal when we are trying to find a new thing. So for instance, when we start at a meter and we move to the left, we are always going to say we're trying to find a hectometer. We are going to move to the left. That means we move our decimal to the left. If we are going from our liter to a centiliter, that means we are moving our decimal to the right. So we're going to the right too, so we move our decimal to the right too. So remember, when we are doing this, so when we move left on the ladder, we move left with our decimal. When we move right, on the ladder, we move right with our decimal. Those are the most important things to remember. Now I'll give you, at the end, I will give you a little bit more in-depth rules to follow and lessons to have. If you'd like to write that on the back, you're more than welcome, but that's the basics that you have. So for instance, let's start with our 1,000 milligrams. So that means we're trying to go from milli to grams, so we're going to go let's go, when we're going to go to the left, we'll go under. So 1, 2, 3. So that means we have, and it even gives it to us right here, we move our decimal over 3. So now we have 1.0 grams. If that helps you remember how to move the decimal. So, moving on to the next one. So that's when we move to our left. When we move to the right, so for instance, when we're going from liter to milliliter, we go 1, 2, 3. So now we move our decimal from here to 1, 2, 3. That gives us 1,000.0 milliliters. Remember, if putting the decimal there helps, that's fine. If you just want to go 1,000, that's fine too. It doesn't really matter as long as you get the right answer and you're following what you want to do. Alright, so moving on. And remember, if you don't want to write on your ladder, you just want to use your finger to go down, that's perfectly fine too. So we're going to go from centimeters. So in this one, we're going from centimeters, just one spot. So we're going 160 to 1,600 millimeters. Okay, so moving on. 14 kilometers. So we're starting all the way up here, and we're going to go to the left again because we're trying to get to meters. See, meters down there. So we're going 1, 2, 3. So that means we take our 1,400, go 1, 2, 3, and now we have 14,000 meters. Remember, kilo always means 1,000. So in this one, we're going 109, but we're starting from here, so we're going to go underneath. We're going to go to the right. So 1, 2, 3. So now we're moving to the right. 1, 2, 3. So now our decimal is in front, and we have 109 kilograms. 0.109. So remember, you want to put that 0 there to help you out. You sure can. You don't have to. It is up to you. And the same thing is true for this one. So 250 meters, we're moving the exact same path. So we're moving the exact same path to kilometers. So instead of a kilogram, we're going to kilometers. So this means that we have 0.250 kilometers. So that is where we are on the scale. If this is troublesome for you, feel free to rewatch it. If you need help, feel free to ask me in class, or if you are lucky enough to have Mr. Crawford in class, you're welcome to ask him as well. Remember, all we're doing is when we move on the ladder, we are moving left, we move the decimal left. We're moving right, we move decimal right. It's that simple. All right, so here's a few other notes that I have for you if you would like it. See, these are the actual rules, so you can follow these rules or you can just follow the basic of left, left, right, right. So the biggest thing you do is you start with finding where the decimal is. You move based on where you are on the case. So if you're going from meter to deca, you move to the right 1 space. If you're going from meter to centi, you move to the left 2 spaces. It is that simple. So once you move the ladder, you move the decimal. That's the most important thing. One other thing, we will be using our base units. So in our base units, we have length and distance are always going to be meters. That's our base unit. That doesn't mean that we're always going to be using meters, because if you're using something very small, like the circumference of the eraser on my pencil, you're not going to be using meters because that's extremely small. You're going to be using something more like millimeters. For volume, you use liters. It's also centimeters cubed, but we'll get to that later on. And mass is going to start with grams. The one other one that I want you to know is time. So time is our seconds. So seconds are our base. We will most of the time not use our kilo, hecto, deca seconds. We will be using seconds per minute. So there are 60 seconds in a minute. There are 60 minutes in 1 hour. And of course you go on from there. 24 hours in a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year, or you can go with 365 days a year. Either one's fine. So remember, what you need to remember is that when you move left, you move the decimal left. When you move right, you move the decimal right. Very simple. Base units are there. If you would like to write any of these on your paper, you are more than welcome to, just to remember what everything is. All right, if you have any other questions, feel free to ask. When you have finished this video and finished the example problems, please come up to the front of the room and grab your practice. Feel free to work on that when you're done. All right.